See that down there? It's all the way down there. Oh my God. Come on. Come on. It's like the claw from friggin' Toy Story. The claw. The claw. Forward, everybody, we're on board, everybody, we're on board. Well, good morning, everybody. I hope everybody is doing super well. It is Wednesday, June 17th at the moment. It has been, I want to say, like 4 months since I've made a video, and I thought, you know what? Let's make a video. I didn't die. I know it's incredible. I just decided over the last few months that I didn't want to be one of these YouTubers that, you know, makes videos about something that they're kind of really just getting into. It just kind of seems like a money grab. And when I first started out making these types of videos, I mean, I had a little bit of knowledge under my belt, but you know, I still was kind of coming up and I was still kind of figuring everything out for myself as well. And so I didn't want to be somebody giving advice that really didn't have any place giving advice. So now that, you know, it's been about 4 months, I've made a lot of progression with all different kinds of, you know, aspects of the business, which I'm excited to share with you guys. And so right now what I'm gonna do is I'm just heading over to the storage unit. I kind of want to take a look at what the storage unit looked like 4 months ago compared to what it looks like now, because it's honestly getting ridiculous. I need to upgrade the size of my unit at this point because I'm kind of tripping over everything in there. But I'm gonna show you guys what that looks like. I'm gonna show you what sold today. For a Wednesday, we had pretty decent sales actually. As far as my numbers are concerned, you guys, back when I was making videos probably like 4 months ago or so, they were probably about half of where they are now. As of right now, just to be totally transparent with you guys, just because that's just how I am and I just don't really care, and I just kind of want to document everything so that I can look back on it years from now and see where I was and how I started and what I came from, you know? Because I started this business with a couple $100 and I left my job of 5 years. I couldn't do it anymore, and I lost my mind, and I was just like, you know what, I need something new. And I didn't know what I was doing and I didn't know how I was gonna do it, but I just decided I'm gonna try. And if I fail, then I could always go back to what I was doing, right? That you know, what's the worst? So I stuck with it, and now we have our 90-day. So for those of you who are newer and don't really know too much about eBay, your 90 days when you go on the app and you can check how many sales, how much revenue you've brought in over the last 90 days. And so for me right now, we finally just hit over $12,000 for the 90-day period. So that's about $4,000 in sales per month. My goal for the eBay store is to get to around 8,300 per month, which would make my 90-day around $25,000. Why, you ask? Because that will basically imply that my eBay business is generating 6 figures of revenue per year. And that's a big milestone. So that's what I'm looking to get that to, amongst all the other things that I'm doing for the business, right? Because it's not just eBay that I'm focused on. I also have Poshmark. I have an Amazon Seller Central account. I'd like to get into Mercari. I'm doing local auctions. I'm kind of just trying to get myself involved in as much as I can with this space and learn as much as I can so that I can grow. And hopefully the information that I learn along the way I can pass along to you guys. With that being said, I know it's been a lot more difficult to source things lately, and by source I mean go out and find things for you to basically flip and sell on eBay because of the you know what virus and you know, all of the other things that have been happening in today's society, and things have been really crazy. One of the more notable things that I'd like to add is my sales during all of this crisis and craziness have actually gone up, and they've gone up significantly. And I don't know if that's because people are at home and they're bored and they need to buy stuff, and for a while Walmart wasn't selling anything that wasn't essential, so if you wanted something you basically had to go on eBay and get it, which was great for eBay sellers, but obviously if you live locally and you don't really like to shop on eBay, it doesn't really do much for you. But it also is driving a lot more attention towards these type of markets like eBay and Amazon and Mercari. And so I'm interested to see how all of this is going to affect the growth of those, and I think it's going to do it tremendously as the retail stores continue to go out of business, because as we're seeing, it's just an unsustainable business model. I mean, think about it, right? Why does it make sense for you to go and develop this really fancy brick and mortar store with all of these fountains and amazing fixtures and electricity and all this overhead and employees and insurances and all of this stuff? Why wouldn't you just want to sell stuff online? Isn't it? It's just so much more cost efficient from a business owner's perspective. So I think long term, my goal is to obviously just continue to scale up eBay as much as I can, and that's going to be a great outlet for me. But eventually I want to take profits from that, and I want to get myself a warehouse, whether I buy the space myself or if I'm renting it out. But I'd like to get a warehouse so that I could do local auctions in it. I'm gonna get, you know, an auctioneer's license, and I'm gonna have, you know, maybe a few people working with me on that, and just continue to scale things up, you know, just constantly be taking money from the business and reinvesting into itself. I really try to not take any of the money out of the business for myself. Before I got into eBay, I was an insurance broker, so I have a little bit of residuals that come in from that, and that I use that money primarily to try and pay for my bills. Obviously, you know, if I can't meet them all, then eBay is always there for the crutch. But my philosophy has always been to just continue to reinvest into the business until it gets to the point where it's so big that it doesn't really matter as much anymore. By the way, I'm just noticing how tired I look. Our neighbors have recently gotten a new puppy, and it doesn't seem like they really have any experience with training it. We've been woken up at like 3 o'clock in the morning consistently for like the last week and a half, 2 weeks. And honestly, it's inspired me and Jordan to really work a lot faster into getting ourselves into a single family home. So that's exactly what we're working on on top of everything else, getting our first house. So that'll be fun too. You guys will get to see some of that and how we search for it, and meeting up with the realtor, and maybe what we pick and all that good stuff. So hopefully that'll be interesting for you guys as well. But we just got to the storage unit, so I'll see you guys inside. So here's a tip for you guys. I know that Justin and a lot of the other people in the RVA water cooler reseller group on Facebook, shout out to y'all if you guys are watching, they use IKEA bags a lot to bring items to and from, whether it be from the storage unit to home to process, or garage sailing, or whatever the case may be. I, however, don't have an IKEA anywhere near me, and I don't really want to buy them online because I'm cheap, right? So I actually got this military bag. I bought this in like a lot of a bunch of different kinds of bags at a local auction, but this thing is massive. It's super durable, obviously, and I can fit a tons of stuff in here, and I don't even think it costed me anything. So if you guys see these out and about, don't be afraid to be the weirdo that's taking all your packages in with a military bag, because that's me, and it works out really well. Let's go ahead and see what we look like. And here it is. Here is the madness. Since then, as you can see, I've gotten myself a bike. That is not for sale, obviously, but Jesus, good Lord, man. I mean, it is just, it's bad. It's bad, man. Every time I come back in here to get something, this is how much room I have, right? So I got to go past the bicycle, and you want to get to these shelves back here. There's this little space over here. It's bad, man. So these are all wholesale items, so that's why those are in those boxes like that. But yeah, man, we started from nothing, and here we are, you guys. So all it takes is a lot of work, a lot of patience, but you can do it, man. You can do whatever you want, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. So let's get some orders pulled. Yeah, I want to show you guys what it is that I sold today on Wednesday, and we'll go through what I paid and all of that good jazz, so that you guys get a pretty good idea of everything. Oh, where's a good spot to leave this? Let's see here. Sure, that'll work. A couple months back, you guys can probably find the footage somewhere. Maybe I can find the footage somewhere. where I bought a bunch of these golf gloves.
Golf gloves. Sell all the golf gloves, one money.
All of the gloves.
We didn't sell those gloves either, did we?
Not yet.
You get the golf clubs and the gloves, all one money.
And the head trimmer.
Got 5, 7.5. Everybody get 7. 7 here now, 10 now, 12 now, 15. Want to get 50 now, 17 now, 20 now, 5 now, 30. Give me 30 now, 5 now, 40 now, 5, 45. Give me 45. Want to get 45 now, 50. Want to get 50 now, 5. Want to get 55. Want to get 55. Want to get 55. Want to get 55 now, 60. Get 60 now, 5. Want to get 65. Sold it $60. No worries.
And I think I had like 97 pairs of them, and I paid like, I don't know, I think I paid up for these. I think I paid like 50 or 60 bucks to get all of these. But long story short, people have been buying them in bulk lately because golf season's been up. So I just sold 4 pairs of these, free shipping. Why does it say that they paid $39.96? That's so weird. It says $39.96 on the sale price or whatever, but then on here it says $23.96. So I'm gonna assume it's $23.96 because I do have it set up so that the more that you buy, the cheaper it is. All right, so we got 4 of those going out. And I'm not gonna lie, you guys, I didn't know if those were gonna sell. It seemed like they were not going to because they were up for months and nobody bought any of them. And then one day I woke up and they started selling in like packs of 4 for some reason. I think it's because you get the best discount when you get 4 pairs of them. That makes sense. We have this Sony. It's like a Sony under the cabinet. It's kind of like a radio. Cool thing about this thing, I picked this up for free when we were still living in New Jersey. Sold it for 50 bucks. 50, and I know it doesn't seem like it, but this thing is really light, so I don't think it's gonna cost me too much to ship, and somewhat small, so it's free shipping, but I got 50 bucks for it, and it's gotta go to California, so I'm hoping that the most it's gonna cost is 20 bucks to ship this thing, but I guess we'll see. This is an empty box now, so I'm gonna take this home and fill it with more crap to sell. Also, don't be afraid to sell your girlfriend's old shoes. So this thing, it's so unorthodox. This is basically just a jewelry sanitation machine. So I picked this up at a garage sale last summer for 5 bucks. I got this with my friend Zach, actually. So Zach, if you're watching this, finally sold it. Got it for 5 bucks. Sold it for 120 plus shipping. I sold this Star Wars action figure. I think I had it up for like $14.99 and somebody bought it for $13.50, or maybe I just had it up for $13.50, I don't remember, but $13.49 free shipping, not really a big deal. My dad gave me a bunch of these right before we moved away because he had so much Star Wars collectible stuff that he needed to sell. He's selling all the big expensive things and I got these little tiny ones, but you can't beat free money, right? So so that was one of the Star Wars action figures. If you're first starting out and you need feedback, because that's like one of the hardest things, right? When you're first starting out is getting your first couple of sales, because some people have like a thing where they don't want to buy from a buyer or a seller rather that doesn't have any feedback. So I think the best thing to do when you're first starting out is to sell little things like this and like little cars and things like that, just things that you're not going to really have any negatives come back on you for it. It's really, really simple. You just kind of like don't have to worry about anything. Like for example, right? If this was one of my first sales, this Sony radio thing, and for whatever reason it arrives and it doesn't work, and then the person gives me like a negative, like that's not something you really want to risk with right off the bat. And of course you could probably get it resolved and all that good stuff. But all I'm saying is when you first start out, just try and keep it simple until you get at least a couple of feedback under your belt. So I sold this phone soap for $94.99. I bought 6 of these locally from a guy who was just trying to get rid of them all. I think he had them up on Marketplace for like 60 bucks a piece, which is a really good price for these. But I offered him, I said, if I took all of them, would you take 40 a piece? And then he countered at 50 and I countered at 45. And so I'm into 45 bucks for this. Sold it for 95. I'm gonna make 30, I did the calculations before to accept this offer. I'm gonna make 30 bucks off of this for 45 spent. So it's not too bad, but I haven't had these for a long time either, and they're brand new in the box. So typically when things are brand new in the box, it's a lot easier for it to sell. Okay, so I need 2 puzzles now. We just need 2 puzzles. Let's move you, and you guys are really getting to see firsthand what it's like and how much fun this is. Of course, it's the very bottom box. Well, I mean, why wouldn't it be, right? Oh my God. What is happening? Oh, Jesus. And this is how you break your merchandise. See that down there? It's all the way down there. Oh my God. Come on. Come on. It's like the claw from friggin' Toy Story. The claw.
The Claw is our master. Claw chooses who will go and who will stay.
This is ludicrous.
All right, we got it. Oh, I'm sweating after that. $27.99. No, $27.49. I bought a lot of these from some guys that live locally to me for $5. And I ship these out, but I have it calculated to the point where I can send these out. If it's going to California, it's gonna be like $10 to $12. But if it's gonna go closer to me, it'll be like $7 or $8. But it is priority. But I don't have to pay for the boxes because I cut down a shoe box. So these are just a really good little flipper for you know, turn $5 into 15 or whatever. But now I gotta, oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Okay, let's see if we can manage to do this. Yeah. I wish you guys could feel how freaking hot it is in here. Honestly, I think I'm just being a complainer because it's a climate controlled unit. I also sold this map puzzle. This map puzzle, I think I have up for $39.99, and that's what it sold for. So obviously I'll make a little bit more on this puzzle as opposed to the other ones. My puzzles usually range depending on what kind it is and what the demand is and how many other competitors there are from, I have them listed for $29.99 to $39.99, and I'm open to offers, but I have to calculate it to make sure that I'm not screwing myself before I accept it and ship it to California and lose money, right? So that's it for everything today, you guys. I'm gonna post, you know, the total amount of revenue that all of these items essentially have brought in. I'll try to give you an idea of what I spent as far as the cost of goods, but it's not very much. And that's the reoccurring trend with my personal business, is I really don't spend very much to get my inventory. My strategy is to really kind of hone in on, you know, buying things for low and selling for high, which is the name of the game. But I'm very picky. I don't really get myself into deals anymore that are going to take a lot of time and not really bear as many financial rewards for me. My plan is, when my father just recently visited me actually for the first time. So my plan is I have to go home because he brought a ton of stuff that Jordan and I left at his house, and obviously we don't really use it. So my plan is to kind of go through it and sort things into piles. We'll have a local auction pile for things that don't make sense to sell online. Then we'll have the eBay pile, and then we will have the keep pile. Notice there's nothing getting thrown out. If you know, obviously if it's garbage, I don't think my dad would bring me garbage, but if it is garbage, it'll go in the garbage. But whatever you can get rid of online, just get a big box and throw all that stuff in there and forget about it. And then in a couple of months, once that box is getting to the point where it's full, bring it to your local auction and try and get rid of it at your local auction, and you're gonna get at least something for it. It's free money. You know what I mean? So it's just another way for you to kind of capitalize on the business. But with that being said, I hope you guys are doing super well, and I hope that everything that's been happening lately hasn't affected you on a mass scale, and I hope that you guys are safe and happy and healthy, and you're continuing to try and be the best that you can be every single day. That's all you can really do, right? But I appreciate you guys nonetheless, and I'll talk to you all very, very soon.